Hey everyone, welcome back to Poplar Preparedness. We got a whole bunch of news items here that we're going to be covering. We're going to be covering Chinese firms being blacklisted by the U.S. government for chip exports. We're going to be covering what's going on in Canada with regard to food shortages and what's really happening at the street level with folks in Canada. What are their concerns? What are they feeling the pinch on? And then let's talk about Peru. Peru has got people in the streets all over the place. They are blockading the streets and demanding that the president there resign. And it is causing mass chaos in the supply chain. You did not know this, but we import, let's see here, 150 million metric tons of fruit just last month from, you guessed it, Peru. So let's jump into these reports. First off, Genesis Gold Group is the sponsor for this video, and they do a fantastic job helping people transition from stock portfolios, bonds, and get over into something dependable like vaulted gold or silver. If you have your money locked up in IRAs or 401ks, you can get that out of risky stuff into something a lot more secure. If you want to do that, you want to chat with Jonathan down in the description down below. He and his team will give you some great information on what you can do about that and what that would look like. So we have this trade war escalating between the United States and China. Just 2 months ago, we had this massive blacklisting of basically all Chinese manufacturing from U.S. Americans working with those chip manufacturers producing computer chips, because they're being used for defense purposes as well as civilian purposes. And so Americans were forbidden from working and aiding these companies. And also there were export controls that went into place where United States companies were not allowed to interact and help these companies over in China. In addition to that, we now have this word from Bloomberg out there that apparently later this week we're going to get the announcement from the Biden administration that they are going to blacklist 30 Chinese firms as well as one major Chinese chip manufacturer. And this is going to block all exports of chip making equipment from the United States, as well as the arms are being twisted. Other countries are being twisted, like I believe in the UK and Japan, to stop them from exporting. Netherlands and Japan from exporting those the equipment used to make chips into China. So what's happening is this major cutting off at the knees of semiconductors. Now, a lot of those semiconductors are manufactured in Taiwan, just across the little sea there. A lot of chips are made in Taiwan, and China has been trying to compete with that. And the United States has just walked in and just knocked out all the supports and is working to do that even harder, which will really handicap the manufacturing capability of China. They make a bazillion cell phones, they make tablets, computers, they make a lot of electronics, a lot of toys, and a lot of gizmos need components that have software in them, that have chips and computer programming. And all these things desperately need semiconductors and chips. The fact that the United States and the West are denying China those things is going to really, really anger and really upset the Chinese government, the Chinese Communist Party over there. So this is definitely an escalation, something that we need to keep our eyes on. The second thing out there is the Canadians. Well, more than half of the Canadians are now worried that they won't have enough money for food. The fact that you can get half of the people in your country concerned about not having enough money for food tells you something about the status of your society. 86% think that Canada, this is Canadians, think Canada will have a recession in 2023. 86%. That's a big number. A lot of people very, very, very concerned about what's going on over there and concerned about what's going on in the United States and elsewhere when it comes to the economy. People are worried about their jobs. They're worried about having a job. They're worried about having enough money to be able to purchase food. And 52% are worried that they will be short on money when it comes to buying Christmas presents. This is done over a week ago, but the poll. So hopefully you're done all your Christmas shopping, but I still have one or two more things to get. But all that to say, a lot of issues in Canada right now. A lot of people really struggling, honestly. Things aren't all looking up. And I know that if we did that poll over in the United States here, if we did the poll over in the UK, we'd get some pretty scary, startling stats there too. Speaking of craziness, Peru. They have people out in the streets forming roadblocks, blocking traffic. As I said, 150 million metric tons of fruit are imported by the United States from Peru. What you also don't know is that Peru, probably don't know, is number 2 or number 3, depending on the year, exporter of silver. They have massive silver mines. They produce a lot of silver. With these blockades, with these road shutdowns, equipment is not moving. Product like fruit expires pretty darn fast. They pick it and it needs to get frozen. It needs to get dehydrated, or else it's going to go bad really fast. So fruit needs to be moving on the roads. You can't have it stopped. Silver, of course, if it gets stopped, it tends to disappear because people steal it, because it's a precious metal. Once people figure out what's in that truck over there, it tends to walk away. And all that to say is that we have inside Peru kind of very similar to what's happening down in Brazil and what's happening in some of these other countries too, that there's this massive destabilization. We've said that food shortages and food price increases are going to lead to governments falling around the world. And that's what we're seeing. And what we're seeing is concentrated in South America, particularly, but we're also seeing issues in Africa as well. So we have a lot of these destabilizations happening and protests, and you have a lot of that happening over in China as well, right? And so all these things are kind of just showing that the stress on people financially when it comes to food and providing for the families is getting to a breaking point. And a lot of people are breaking and demanding change. All right, folks, thanks so much for watching. If you like this video, you might want to check out this other video right here. I'll see you over there, or I'll see you later. Steve Poplar, out.